are heading to the Greevy and Sylvandale Island at the abandoned railroad bridge in Williamsport. Closest boat launch is Greevy Road, Greevy Boat Launch in Loyalsock Township. I'm going upriver today to go on the north side of the island, wrap around the island, check out the western point of the island, and then go down a side stretch on the south side of the island, closest to Sylvandale. Today's objective is to scout litter and plastic on the island. And so this island fills up with litter that's flowed down the river from Williamsport and upriver of Williamsport. And it goes over that dam, and the dam can really tear things up. And the bits and pieces that are left over kind of get washed up on this shore with other lightweight material like driftwood and other things. And so I think the point of this island is going to have a lot of that lightweight material, and in that I want to see how much of it is plastic. So on the way up the river today, I did see some lightweight collections of driftwood and other woody plant material, and there's some plastics in there. At least every pile had at least one visible plastic bottle in it. Now I'm sure if I got out and looked a little bit closer, you would see more bits and pieces of plastic throughout. Today's not a cleanup mission, it's just a scouting mission for future plans, and also to document the effects of plastic in the area here and compare it to other areas, even upriver, when I come into lightweight material, and start gauging how much plastic is in different collections of lightweight material. Now you would think it gets worse and worse as you go down river, because you're passing more and more cities, more and more opportunities for polluters and litters. So anyway, we're almost to the point of the island here. I did find a boxing glove already, and see a little something here I'm gonna pull over and get. It looks like a volleyball, miniature volleyball. But I also saw this watch that I'm gonna clean up and see what kind it is. Little plastic digital watch. I don't think it has any value. It's like a piece of plastic or something floating down right now. There's a plastic bottle floating down the river. And it's going to be tough on that island if there's a lot of plastics to just walk over it and leave it behind and keep on going. But that's what today's mission is. It's a scouting mission. I'm going to document a lot of this, make plans to come back, whether it's myself or a group or volunteers of others. A couple pieces of plastic on that pile. And so now we're on the other side of the island. So here we have some, looks like metal roofing possibly a river lot building. What's left of a building anyway, maybe an outhouse. Oh, fish just jumped. It's a good fishing spot in here, and as a reward for those who watch through these whole videos, I'm giving away a fishing location right here. So up here I see a plastic barrel, some other plastic debris, it looks like. Not as bad as I remember, but definitely a lot more plastic in there now. Probably at least 7 pieces of plastic I see there. So I think I'm going to get out here, take a little walk around this area. Wow. Tires, water containers, plastic chair, more plastic, alcohol glass bottles, and just plastic everywhere through here. Now I'm probably not going to be able to walk through a lot of this. It's really lightweight driftwood and organic material that you're going to fall down right through, and just a whole collection of lightweight material right there, probably floated into that little pool there and then just settled down as the water went down. The water will get this high a few times a year, and in the winter time ice and everything can push a lot of this up onto the island here as well. See some plastic sandals, clothing, rubber, wires. It was a struggle to walk through all the debris to get over to this side. Lots of ankle busting areas that I had to be careful through. It's more scattered plastic throughout there. Definitely not as bad. Seeing some plastic wrappers. It's a plastic bucket. See some pieces of foam, maybe styrofoam or some sort of rubber. Here's a piece of a garbage bag. I don't know if it was put there on purpose or if a garbage bag just got caught up in there. Looks like it's actually grown into the tree. So this tree has swallowed this piece of garbage bag into one of its pieces of trunk. It's kind of ironic. Could possibly show you how long some of this plastic's been here. And you can see how that garbage bag goes into the actual living structure of the tree. And these are pretty big trees here on this island. I think them two right there in front of us, probably the biggest ones I've seen along the river in this area. So I had to come through all this knotweed or whatever it's called. I'm just going to call it generic bamboo today. Kind of covers this whole island, and you really don't get a sense of what's on the ground here because it's just all covered with this stuff. but certain times of year would probably be better for a cleanup operation in this area. Maybe early spring when the water's low, before all this greenery takes over. And here's where I crossed already, but you can see there was no getting around this. This kind of goes down the majority of the middle of the island here, at least as far as I can see. There's tires out here, piece of pressurized wood with some big metal nails in it, or treated wood of some sort. And it's a lot of just lightweight material that you have to test every step before you move forward. It's another tire right here. There's one thing I didn't expect to see was a lot of tires in here, but I guess if they're filled up with air, that they would float into this area as well. So I'm kind of getting down on my hands and ankles here to make sure I don't step in any wrong spot. Kind of holding the camera too. Then there's some more stuff I have to go through here. There's the other side of the island. Seeing more aluminum cans. Oh, there's a spray paint can. More plastic bottles. Here's a stuffed animal of some sort. I'm gonna check that out. It's always kind of cool to see what different trash, I guess you would call it, washes up. I did find a yo-yo, but here's some nasty looking beanie baby of some sort. Poor little creature. Even the stuffed animals have a rough time here. Looks like it could be a Thai beanie baby, or maybe a generic kind. Can't really read the logo there. It looks like a generic Thai beanie baby. I'm just gonna leave him right there. There you go, buddy. It's the closest thing to any wildlife I've seen in here so far. So now I'm gonna put the camera down and crawl through this debris and get back to the kayak, head downriver, check out the areas of the abandoned railroad bridge piers. This area is starting to remind me of the headwaters of the West Branch, with how narrow it is and how many trees are down across it. That's an old tree there that came down. Looks like it came down this year. Still see some greenery around it. Some plastic shopping bag on this log. So, with these trees down here on the water, see this, there's the catbird on top of the debris there. That's the catbird you're hearing. So, I see one water bottle in here, not too much plastic in this collection, 2 pieces, 3 pieces, looks like a Nerf football there. Ooh, it's got some smell to it. Smells like a dead deer around here somewhere. Dead animal of some sort. definitely not as much litter the further you go down this island compared to the head point of the island, which takes all brunt of all the lightweight material. But anywhere you see little piles of driftwood, kingfisher, not anytime you see piles of kingfisher, but I was pointing out a kingfisher that went up the right side of the river. But anytime you see little piles of driftwood and lightweight material, organic material, here you see it mixed in with a lot of plastic as well. Compared to other sections of the river that I do, where sometimes it can be pretty tough to find bits of plastic hidden in the collection areas. So just up here is going to be the second stop of the day. This island here is actually an abandoned pier from the railroad that goes across the river here. There's more piers out in the river, but this one here is kind of hidden in the trees, really overgrown with lots of vegetation now. You can just barely see the points of that pier. Which I'm going to have Missy do some more research on who this railroad actually belonged to and some more details about it. Keep that history alive. There's a bass right here under this log. Oh man, if I had my GoPro ready, I would have stuck it right under that point there. He obviously saw me, but he believes he's kind of hiding from me where he is. Just immediate, there he went. He saw my oar coming in and took off. Medium-sized bass, maybe 10 to 14 inches. So here is the structure of the first or second pier of the railroad bridge that used to go from South Williamsport or the Sylvandale area across the river into just about downtown Williamsport. And if you ever notice that dip on 3rd Street, I think it's right around the area of the walking path or the bike path that goes over the highway. On 3rd Street, there's a random dip in the road. And that random dip is there because that's where the railroad crossed. And so the road bridge went under the railroad. So the railroad could keep its flat grade. Maybe I can get out here on the river along the pier. So in here I see 2 pieces of plastic right away. Styrofoam cup, plastic bottle, there's a tennis ball. a neat little island of trees there. The island's just big enough to have either 1 or 3 trees. They're all the same, so they could just be 3 sprouts of 1 tree. So I'm seeing a large collection over there. Actually don't remember this place being quite like this with these little eddies here. Oh, hey, Mr. Beaver. Hey, guys. Leave me alone. You just leave me alone. None of that. I'll whack you with a paddle. So there was 2 beavers right there. They came up to me pretty aggressively, and I thought for sure he was going to splash the crap out of me. But he just gave me a little friendly splash. I wonder what they're doing here. I wouldn't. Are you guys trying to dam this area off? A lot of work ahead of you. So lots of debris in this area, and lots of plastic. Glass bottles, barrel containers, treated wood, some kind of metal bracket over here. So not as bad as the head of the island, but definitely signs of plastic throughout this whole collection of material here. And I'm sure if I went up onto the ground there'd be more, which I am kind of curious to see if I could get out somewhere easy here. So over here towards the river, it does look like some of the water is getting through from the main stem of the river. So we got tires way up on them trees. Some sort of large piece of metal bracketing, maybe from a boat dock. Plastic bottles, little pieces of shredded plastic, wrappers. I need to come up with some way to rate the areas of litter in order to compare them to other areas, clean areas, bad areas. Like, I guess the head of this island I would rate probably as bad as it gets. But then other small areas of this island I would rate rather clean. I guess one of the rating systems could simply be how many pieces of litter you see without moving. How many pieces of litter can you spot in one area? And maybe if you spot 1 piece, the rating's a 1. Maybe if you spot 10 pieces, the rating's a 10. If you're watching this video, leave some suggestions for me. Give me some ideas. So I just saw one turtle go into the water because I spooked them. It looked like a wood turtle, but it could have been a map turtle or a slider as well. But this area is known to have a lot of turtles, so I'm going to kind of sneak down through the rest of this area. Kind of enjoy the scenery a little bit, take some photos. There were some wildflowers. I wanted to make sure I got there before I passed by some more litter. There's a big. I see one turtle down there. Got yellow on his head. When we came through here on the river trip, we were photographing turtles, basically on top of the trash, on top of chemical cans, bottles, tires. Not a impressive sight to see. I see about 5 pieces of litter in this one, plastic litter. 6. And no turtles. 7. Fishing line, that's 8. Any lures up in there? Some pretty thick line. Looks rather small. There he goes. It's never a good sign when you're spotting more plastic litter than wildlife on a kayaking trip. I think that puts a lot of this into perspective today. 3 more pieces of plastic here, rubber buoy, plastic bottles. What I see, close to, it's got to be 100 pieces of plastic today, and only identified maybe 2 or 3 different birds. Now I've seen a lot of different birds, but I've identified more pieces of plastic than I've identified birds today. I've seen 3 turtles, maybe 20 birds, 1 fish that I could ID, maybe 5 fish total, and well over 100 pieces of litter through here. Something is bumping on the bottom of me. piece of bark, not a snapping turtle. So here's a little landing that I wanted to stop at before I get out of the island, just to compare the tail of the island to the head of the island. First glance at this tail of the island, really clean, barely any lightweight material here. I haven't seen one piece of litter yet. Very open as well. For whatever reason, there's not a lot of knotweed. I'm seeing a chair, which kind of looks like a makeshift campsite over there. So if you look through here, very clean area. Just spotted a little toad there. He's gonna be running away. Looks like a beaver was gnawing at this tree here. On my way out here, I did see a no trespassing sign. It's kind of dirty. So perhaps this area in here is private property. This is a really old sign. It can't really make out if there was even ever a name on it. But we can look at the GIS and see if this is owned by somebody or if it's just public land. So I dropped the GoPro 360 in the water. It's supposed to be waterproof, but we smashed this camera 2 years ago or a year ago or so, and you can see I had to replace that one lens, and this lens over here still has the factory seal on it. And to fix these lenses, it pretty much costs the same as just buying a new camera, or if you buy the parts yourself, which I did on eBay for a couple bucks, and then just repaired it the best as I could. But I don't have a O-ring seal inside of that lens, so everything else on this should still be waterproof. All the seals still look good, except for the area around that lens that I smashed last year or the year before, I believe. So I turned it off just because it got a little wet. I don't really think I'll need it for the rest of this trip, but maybe we can do something about getting another 360 on some of these trips. I'd like to bring the audience with me. I don't get paid for this. I do some of the work for a nonprofit, which I don't get paid for that either. And so today's mission was kind of a different mission. It wasn't for videos or a photo trip or anything. I was coming out to this island to do a mission on scouting plastic. And so we have a nonprofit event coming up on this Saturday. The Susquehanna Greenway Outdoor Expo on Chickalimi Marina Island. And so our presentation and booth is going to be about plastics in the river. And so this was one of the areas where I noticed the most plastic on some of my river trips. And so I never really got a chance to get here and get footage of it and understand how the plastic is laid on this island that much. So that was the mission of today. I didn't clean up any litter. I do have some in the kayak just because they were like cool little pieces I wanted to keep. There was a plastic yo-yo, a plastic watch and stuff like that. That's kind of cool and didn't take up much space. And a boxing glove, which there's plastic in that too. But anyway, I do want to bring the audience on more trips with me like this, but I need the funding for a better camera setup. I'm looking at the new GoPro Max, which just came out this year or so. It's a few $100. I'm also looking at the Insta 360, which kind of looks a little bit better, but I'm so used to GoPro products. So if you have a suggestion on what I should use in a kayak for a waterproof setting, if I should use the GoPro Max or the Insta360, and also if you would like to donate to the fund of a camera, my website, there's information on my website on how to do that. Get a hold of me on Facebook or social media, wherever you're watching this video on. I do post to YouTube, not that much, but I would like to get into it more, but I just don't have the budget to bring the audience with me right now. You know, a lot of my budget is going to my family now. I do have a daughter. Anything that has to do with the nonprofit, I like to keep that budget on its own nonprofit. My camera does benefit me and not so much the nonprofit. However, I do use a lot of my own equipment when we go out to different events, or when I'm coming out here to identify plastic on an island. I will use my own equipment, and the nonprofit does get the benefit off of that footage, but I do like the fact that it's my equipment, and so I would appreciate if anyone would like to help out on a 360 camera or any kind of equipment that brings the audience out here when I do little side missions like this. Thank you for watching. I look forward to having you along in future trips.